Bob Lilly, September 1972. AP editor's note: this story has been edited since its original post date. Here are 10 things you may not know about legendary Cowboys defensive lineman Bob Lilly. 1. First and foremost, in November 23, 1975, Philadelphia Eagles guard John Niland, 74, shakes hands with retired Dallas Cowboys tackle Bob Lilly, 74, during halftime ceremonies honoring Lilly Sunday at Texas Stadium. Niland and Lilly were teammates last year. AP Wirephoto: in his 14 seasons of professional football, Bob Lilly earned his title of Mr. Cowboy by being the first Dallas player to achieve, well, pretty much everything. The Cowboys traded the No. 2 pick in the 1961 NFL Draft, their first as a franchise, but acquired the No. 14 pick from Cleveland and selected Lilly, making him the team's first draft pick. Upon retirement, he was the first player inducted into the Dallas Cowboys Ring of Honor in 1975. He was also the first player to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame after spending his entire career with Dallas. Lilly said he wasn't even aware the Cowboys drafted him. According to the Dallas Morning News' Brendan Meyer, when the Dallas Cowboys made their first NFL draft selection in franchise history, their newest player was in his TCU dorm, completely unaware. It was December 27, 1960. Bob Lilly was a 21-year-old consensus All-America and a Texan who dreamed of playing professional football in his home state. But the draft wasn't televised, and he wasn't expecting pick-by-pick updates because back then, Lilly said, the draft wasn't a big deal. 2. Fearsome Frog: Lilly was a known commodity in the area before ever donning the star on his helmet. The defensive lineman was a force at TCU before going pro, playing 3 years of varsity football on defenses that allowed just 8 points per game. In Lilly's first 2 seasons, TCU finished the season in the AP Top 10 with an 8-1 record in 1958 and an 8-3 mark a year later. 3. Top of the class: the Cowboys were nearly held out of the first round in their first NFL draft, but were able to draft Lilly with a pick obtained from Cleveland. Picking Lilly worked out just fine, but had they retained their original pick at number 2, the Cowboys would have had their pick of some strong talent. Of the top 13 picks in the 1961 draft, 12 players were named to either Pro Bowl or AFL All-Star teams. With the number 2 pick, Dallas traded. Washington selected Pro Bowl QB Norm Snead. At No. 5, the Bears picked Hall of Famer Mike Ditka, while the 49ers got Hall of Fame cornerback Jimmy Johnson at No. 6. Just ahead of the Lilly pick, Green Bay took Herb Adderley, another Hall of Famer that later joined Lilly in Dallas. 4. Iced out, Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle Bob Lilly, 74, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 1980, leaps over a would-be blocker trying to get to the ball carrier during the NFL championship game. A 21-17 loss to the Green Bay Packers on December 31, 1967, at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. AP photo: Vernon Beaver. Lilly was among the early Cowboys to compete against the Green Bay Packers in the fabled 1967 NFL championship game, otherwise known as the Ice Bowl. It was a game of survival more than anything else, Lilly told Sports Day of the Ice Bowl in 1987. When Lilly awoke the morning of the game, he learned of the rough weather from his teammate, George Andre. George had gone to early mass when I woke up, Lilly said. I looked out the window and I couldn't believe how sunny and clear it was. Then George came in the room. He didn't say anything about the temperature outside. He simply got a glass of water, pulled back the curtain and threw the water on the window. The water froze before it ran down to the windowsill. And it was 70 degrees in that room. 5. Super Bowl V, the toss. One of the most memorable moments of Lilly's career came in one of his most disappointing games. Lilly helped lead Dallas to its first Super Bowl, but the Cowboys came up on the short end of a 16-13 loss to the Baltimore Colts on a last-second field goal. After the kick went through, Lilly famously threw his helmet about 50 yards across the field in frustration. "We were heading off the field after the game and just feeling awful," Lilly recalled years later. "Some young Colts player came up to me, holding out my helmet. He just said, 'I think this is yours, mister.'" Lilly, "So, in addition to feeling awful, I felt like an idiot." 6. Super Bowl 6. The sack. Lilly got his long-awaited championship a year later in Super Bowl 6 as the Cowboys dominated the Dolphins, not allowing a touchdown in the 24-3 victory. Among Lilly's greatest contributions in that game is the signature play of his career, a 29-yard sack of Miami quarterback Bob Greasy that still stands as the longest negative play in Super Bowl history. Check out both Super Bowl plays at 2:15 of the video below. 7. Retired number, org XMIT, *SO4147324009 1971, Dallas Cowboys Bob Lilly, 74, and Bob Hayes, 22. The Cowboys have commemorated players in the Ring of Honor since Lilly was first honored, but Mr. Cowboy has a distinction unlike any other Dallas great. While the Cowboys technically don't retire numbers, Lilly appears to be the exception. His No. 74 has yet to be issued to another player in the 40-plus years since his retirement. Troy Aikman's number 8 and Emmitt Smith's No. 22 have yet to be issued since they joined the Ring of Honor, but they have been gone for just 15 and 13 years respectively. 8. New hobby. While Lilly's passion for football was always his focus during his playing days, he discovered a new passion at the end of his final season at TCU, according to his official website. After being named to the Kodak All-American team, Lilly was invited on a trip to New York to appear on The Ed Sullivan Show and attend parties in the team's honor. Among the perks was a gift from the sponsor, a camera. From then on, Lilly was hooked on photography. 9. Living a dream later in Lilly's career and following his departure from the game, he was able to turn his attention entirely to his photography. While still with the Cowboys in 1967, he served as a photographer for the Texas Air National Guard, spending 2 weeks with the unit at an airbase in West Germany. In the early 1980s, Lilly co-authored a book with former Dallas Morning News writer Sam Blair called Bob Lilly Reflections. The book combined black and white photographs he took of teammates with stories of the early Cowboys. He also opened a photo art gallery, with multiple darkrooms while living in New Mexico in the late 1980s. 10. Realization. Before truly devoting himself to photography, Lilly owned a lucrative beverage distribution business. But after Lilly saw the aftermath of a traffic accident triggered by drunken driving, he gave up his business. One his wife said would have made them millionaires. A whole bunch of Coors cans had fallen out on the highway, and he realized, "Those young boys were drinking my product," and Lilly told the Dallas Morning News in 1998. Quarterbacks. Running back QB Tony Romo, including his former basketball, golf prowess QB Dustin Vaughn, including his most special NFL moment so far QB Brandon Weeden, including the first impression he made on Dez Bryant. RB Joseph Randall, including the Barry Sanders similarities. RB Lance Dunbar, including how he escaped Hurricane Katrina. Brian Williams, including the time he was told he'd never run the same. Offensive lineman Aleo Collins, including his amazing mom and fashion sense. Travis Frederick, including his involvement with One Wipe. Charlie Saul. Doug Free, including his college nickname Tyron Smith, including his over 600-pound bench press. Chaz Green, including his impressive NFL draft prediction. Zach Martin, including his history-making feats in both college and the NFL. Receivers. Tidy NDSWR. Dez Bryant, including his strange diet and why the NFL is easier than college. Terrence Williams, including the name of his touchdown celebration. WR Devon Street, including why he wants to prove his 7th grade teacher wrong. Gavin Escobar, including why his nickname is Pablo Ricole Beasley, including his photobombing skills and hard-to-stomach pre-game ritual. Defensive line Monday. Tyrone Crawford, including a shellfish scare and dog-sitting drama. Randy Gregory, including the origin of his savage life nickname Greg Hardy, including him saying he could beat LeBron James. Chapter 1-on-1 to Jeremy Mincy, including how TV almost ruined his marriage proposal. DeMarcus Lawrence, including his connection to Leon Let DT. Terrell McClain, including his Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fandom linebackers, safety Sean Lee, including his family's law background LB Andrew Gatchker, including a bout with thoracic outlet syndrome Rolando McClain, including an incorrect diagnosis and tough times at home Damian Wilson, the Cowboys' 4th-round draft pick Anthony Hitchens, including life-changing decision he made at age 1 to LB Mark Nziocha, a Cowboys' 7th-round draft pick Sperry Church, including a tough night to remember cornerbacks, specialists, coach Eship Morris Claiborne, including a graduate assistant sage advice B. Orlando Scandrick, including a mistake in Mexico CB Byron Jones, including his interest in government CB Brandon Carr, including his love for Big D as a child Dan Bailey, including taking a record from Barry Sanders Scott Linehan, including his big screen TINDC Rod Marinelli, including his wrestling match with a Bear HC Jason Garrett, including his Ivy League legacy, football family front office personnel 10 things to know about Cowboys COO Stephen Jones, including when he tried to talk Jerry out of buying the Cowboys 10 things you might not know about Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, including his entourage, blind date, former players, coaches 10 things to know about former Cowboys WR Michael Irvin, the motel room, blackmail in, Dancing with the Stars 10 things you might not know about former Cowboys running back Emmitt Smith, including his poker prowess, Chan's meeting in Aruba 10 things you might not know about Troy Aikman, including a Simpsons appearance, him cursing like a sailor on the golf course 10 things to know about former Cowboys coach Jimmy Johnson, including hustling bridge 10 things to know about Tom Landry, including how he could have been Houston Oilers coach 10 things to know about Cowboys Hall of Famer Randy White, including boxing Joe Klecko 10 things to know about Roger Staubach, he got as many votes for VP as George H.W. Bush at 1976 Republican National Convention.